Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to show you a really foolproof everyday makeup tutorial. This is something that you can do no matter what products you have on hand. It's really more about the technique and the steps versus the actual products that you use, so you can really switch out the products, but I will share with you my tips and tricks to creating a really foolproof everyday makeup look in case you're running late, if you're in a pinch, or if you don't know what to wear based off of like your outfit of the day. I know a lot of people do their makeup before getting dressed, so a tutorial like this is going to really match anything that you wear. If you're new here, hi, I'm Allie. I'm the founder of Moira Beauty and an everyday makeup artist, and hopefully help you guys find and perfect your everyday routine. Obviously, I love full glam as well, but it's always my goal through my tutorials and through my brand, Moira Beauty, to help you guys feel the most confident in your everyday routine. So first and foremost, which I did off camera, was skin prep. I think something that is really important is to do your morning skincare routine. Even if you feel like you're running late, curate something that's really effortless and easy and just a couple of steps, and it will really help prep your skin and really set you up for success when it comes to a quick everyday makeup look. This next step is optional, and that is to use some sort of a primer. If you know that you need a little help with your longevity of your makeup, or if you're getting ready really early in the morning and you need it to last a long time, I would suggest finding a primer that suits your skin type. I'm going to actually be using this one right here. I just discovered this and it is so good. It literally made my makeup look the exact same for hours when I tried it out. So I'm going to be wearing this again today. This is the Maybelline Grippy Serum. I like how it has a little bit more of like a liquid base, so it's not too heavy on the skin, and it also doesn't have like a tint or anything like that, so you just can't mess it up if you're just throwing it on the face. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to focus this on the areas that I know need a little bit more longevity, which for me is through the T-zone. That's where I get the oiliest, so I'm focusing it there, but then feathering it out with my fingertips on the rest of my face. Next, you're going to want to even out your skin tone in some way. So that could be a tinted moisturizer. Some people like to just use concealer. I personally like to use, a foundation and concealer, even on an everyday basis, just because I just feel like it's easy. Actually, today I'm going to be trying a new one. So again, this is not necessarily about products as much as the order of application, or just like adjust this tutorial to whatever products you currently love. But I did receive this in the mail today. I'm going on a date night and I was like, I want to try this foundation. This is the new Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint Glow Foundation. You guys know how much I love the original one. It's literally my favorite foundation, and this is much more matte. So when I saw that they came out with a glowy version, I bought it immediately. I bought it in 0.5N, but again, if you're following along, just literally use whatever your favorite everyday base product is. I just did one pump on the back of my hand. Since this is new, I'm gonna just see what the coverage is like. Okay. One pump seems to be giving good coverage. I feel like when it comes to an everyday look, it's nice to figure out with your go-to foundation or tinted moisturizer exactly how much you need for more of a natural finish. So less is more typically. When you have a tinted moisturizer, I feel like you can get away with, a little bit more just because the pigmentation is typically more sheer in a tinted moisturizer. That is beautiful though. And that was just one pump all over the face. Buffed onto the skin with a brush, and then I'm going to take what's left and press that into the skin with a sponge. The next thing you're going to need is a concealer, so I'm going to use my current favorite. This is from Tarte. It's the Creaseless Creamy Concealer, and for me, I like to apply a bit underneath the eyes, and I actually like to go a little bit lower than I used to so that I can take the excess product up toward the under eye area, but it doesn't like overload my under eyes. I'm going to put a little bit on like the center of the forehead to brighten, and maybe a little around my nose just to cover up any redness. I do have some blemishes going on the jawline, so I'll dot some there and a little blemish there. And to make things quick and easy, when it comes to concealer every day, I just go in with my sponge to press that in. I always take what's left of my sponge and go across the eyelid as well. I have a bit of discoloration there, so it's just an easy way to kind of even that out before we put anything on the eyes. Alright, so the skin is even. Now for me, for every day, a loose powder is non-negotiable. You guys know how much I love the Huda Beauty loose powder, but I recently tried this L'Oreal Infallible one, and it, in combination with this Maybelline Grippy Primer, made my makeup look literally the same all day. So I'm wearing this again today because it worked so well for me last time. I have the shade Light Pink, And I just take a brush and I'm gonna press this into the T-zone first. That's where I want the most powder. If you're following along, just press the powder into the areas where you crease the most or where you find your makeup kind of separating the most or the fastest throughout the day. Usually that tends to be the places where you have more oily skin. But if you're following along, again, make sure that you're choosing a loose powder that suits your needs. So if you have more mature skin or more dry skin, you might want to opt for a more lightweight powder or one that feels a little more on the hydrating side. For me, since I have more oily skin in the center of the face, I can go with a little bit more of a heavy-duty powder, and I feel like I can get away with it. I also love to put some powder in the eyebrows, just to kind of prime that area for my brow pencil. I'm also going to take what's left in the cap on a fluffy brush and tap that same powder onto the edges of the face. For me, an everyday routine always includes a Foolproof pressed powder bronzer. So today I decided to grab my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which is such a classic. I'm actually going to just use that same brush. And we're just going to start dusting this all over the skin. It's just so quick and easy. And for every day, that's what we're looking for. Just going to kind of throw it into the hairline a bit, blending it down toward the brows. I always like to do my bronzer before brows because, as you can see, I kind of like to bring the bronzer into the brow area. I find that just looks really natural. Take a bit of that down the neck too. And we'll put a little bit on the sides of the nose and maybe just a little bit across too for more of like a sun-kissed look. Another reason why I love a powder bronzer for every day is because you can quickly just take your eyeshadow brush, dip into the bronzer, and apply this all over the eyes, and you literally have a nice monochromatic kind of a look and a nice shape and sculpt around the eye area that looks uniform and cohesive with everything else on the face. After bronzer, I personally always like to move to brows. So use a brow pencil that's going to enhance what you naturally already have. I personally am obsessed with Moira Beauty's Easy Everyday Brow Pencil. This is one that I created, so of course I'm obsessed. But it's one that I feel like is so foolproof, easy to use, and always looks so natural. I also made sure that there was a spoolie on the other side of this pencil. It's non-negotiable for me, so that as you fill in, you can kind of go back and forth between filling in the brows and brushing through for the most natural look. Some people who have more full brows might not need to spend as much time on brows in general as I do, but as you can see, I don't have quite as many brow hairs naturally. So a brow pencil for me is a non-negotiable staple in my everyday routine. Just using really light, feathery strokes to create super natural little marks that look exactly like my brow hairs. And by the way, I personally use the shade dark brown. Next, you're going to want to add a little bit of color to the cheeks. I personally go back and forth between creams and powders. For this type of look, I'll be honest, I love using my Moira Beauty Baked Blush in the shade Paradise. We are currently sold out of this. We're working on a restock, but it's just such a good everyday color. But I did recently receive in PR a new shade from Say that gives a very similar effect. Well, I haven't tried it yet, but it looks like it would. It's just a cream formula, so you can go with either. I might layer the two, to be honest. So I'm actually going to start with my Paradise blush, and I'm going to go towards the back of the cheeks. And it's a shade that seamlessly blends into your bronzer. It's supposed to make you look like you just got back from vacation. That was the whole point of this shade. The inspiration behind the shade was just that sun-kissed, toasted, but soft toasted kind of a color. So that's that. Let's go in with this Say cream, maybe on like the apples of the cheeks. This is a new color. This is their Dew Blush in the shade Lady, and the color looks so pretty. So I'm going to take that on the back of my hand, and again, you don't have to use two blushes for your everyday look. I just am really wanting to test this one out. So I'm going to take that on a brush, and let's pop this on more of the apples of the cheeks. This is going to give me a little bit more of a dewy finish as well. So I applied the powder first for that base, and then this almost doubles as like a highlighter too, which I love. I'm going to pop a bit of that on the eyelid as well. But I'm really liking how that looks. I always do like to take a bit of powder after I put a cream on, especially on top of powder, and just kind of reset the areas that get oily. I still like to leave that glow on like the outer parts of the cheeks because that doesn't really bother me or break up at all throughout the day, but right here, I like to kind of reinforce with some more powder. I've been doing something interesting lately where I will assess my situation a little bit earlier and do setting spray before mascara. I just think that this kind of allows for more longevity, and I feel like I go in a little heavier with my setting spray, and then also I don't risk my mascara breaking down whatsoever. So I'm going to use my current favorite setting spray. I do think this is important in an everyday routine. This is called You Mist Makeup Extending Fixing Spray, and boy oh boy does it work. So I'm going to go in with this all over. I love it. I'll let that dry down, and then I'm going to go in gently and press that setting spray into the skin even more with my sponge. After setting spray, I take a little more powder and just tap into the areas that I really don't want shine throughout the day. This is one of my favorite little hacks, especially for every day. If you've got a long day ahead, don't be afraid of powder and layering powder. It doesn't take that much extra time, and it really makes all the difference in the way that your makeup wears throughout the day. All right, let's do a little mascara. I'm gonna wear my L'Oreal Panorama Mascara today. And you can see for an everyday look, I really don't go crazy on eyeshadow. I simply just use bronzer and pop on a mascara, and then I'm good to go. I'm gonna wipe off any foundation that got on the lips. For me personally, a lip liner is something that I wear on a daily basis. Choose one that matches or closely matches your personal skin tone for every day. I'm gonna use this new lip cheat contour pencil I've been really liking from Charlotte Tilbury. And then I usually opt for like a clear gloss, or I'll put on my Moira Beauty lip treatment oil on top of a lip liner. But I wanted to try out this new Say lip oil in the shade Bubble, because when it comes to an everyday look, you kind of want to keep things monochromatic for a really effortless routine. So I felt like this would match the blush really nicely. Actually, I might do a little bit of a combo. I'm going to throw in a little bit of Effortless Lips in Dahlia first, like one layer. And then I want the center of the lips to kind of have a bit more gloss, so I'm going to put this on in the middle. That is so pretty. All right, last step is setting the brows. You can use any brow gel. Today I'm going to use the Rare Beauty one for like an extra feathery look. All right, you guys, there you have it. There is my foolproof recipe for the best everyday makeup look. You can adjust this however you'd like with products that you know you love and use on a daily basis, products that really work for you, but essentially, those few steps are going to create a foolproof, very easy, very effortless look that's perfect for every day. And again, something like this is going to match with no matter what you're wearing. You can always bump up the blush, change the lip a little bit if you want to have a little bit of a show-stopping, statement as a part of your makeup and keep the rest of the base the same. So really quickly, just to recap, first and foremost, do some skin prep. Do your morning skincare routine. It really, really helps set the tone for your makeup. For every day, especially if you have a long day ahead of you, choose a primer that's going to really help combat your main concerns. For me, it's being oily in the T-zone, so I use something that I know is going to help with longevity there. Next, you're going to even out your skin tone with a tinted moisturizer, a foundation, and concealer of your choice. You can use the amount of coverage that you want personally. I feel like less is more for an everyday look, but you do you. Then don't be afraid of a loose powder. This really is going to help with that longevity. Choosing something that's going to work for your personal skin concerns and also skin type will really set you up for success and will allow your makeup to wear all day long. A powder bronzer is fabulous. Find your perfect formula and shade and dust that all over the face, as well as using it as an eyeshadow. It saves so much time. Softly fill in your eyebrows with your favorite types of brow products. For me, it's the Easy Everyday Brow Pencil from Moira Beauty. This is just going to enhance what you already have and frame the face in a really natural looking way. Add a blush that's not too bright, that kind of mimics a sun-kissed feel. That way you can just throw it on and it will blend into your bronzer beautifully and make you look really healthy. Use a setting spray. Setting sprays are your friend. Spray it all over. I like to do this before mascara to really make sure that my mascara wears well, and I can really add extra setting spray to make sure my complexion products wear as long as possible. Lastly, pop on some mascara. Do a little lip combo with a lip liner or lipstick or gloss, or all three like me, that really closely matches your natural lip color. It's just going to be foolproof that way. And don't forget to pop on a light layer of your favorite mascara. hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I know these are definitely steps and tips and tricks that some of you guys may know and be very familiar with, but for those of you who want help in just creating a really foolproof routine, I hope that this helps you. You really can't mess this up, and no matter what products you're using or what colors you opt for, if you kind of follow that general guideline, it's going to give you a really nice everyday look. That's it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!